Hey, welcome back to another web development video. Today I'm talking about anticipation of change in software and software development, specifically for people that are new to the concept or aren't familiar with it. So essentially, to think about this, software requirements, they're going to change during the development of the software or after the software has launched. So requirements are what is the software required to do? What is the software doing? So when these changes occur, there's going to be different and additional costs associated, and those costs are either monetary or in time. So think about if you're in the middle of a project and all of a sudden you have to redo a bunch of work. Well, that costs money and time, right? If it's after the software is launched and the features need to change of the software, that costs money and time. So the purpose of anticipating change is to help keep these time and money costs low, to basically be more efficient and make a better product. The idea is to not just anticipate the changes, right? But you want to plan for them. But the thing to remember is that you can never anticipate every single change that a customer is going to ask for or a project team is going to ask for. So you have to keep that in mind. So there are definitely some techniques that you can use to help yourself when it comes to this. So the idea, right, is to update the software or update your project without disrupting the entire structure of the software function. So if you are building some sort of feature, if you can update some parts of it quickly and easily, yet leave a lot of it alone, that's ideal. That's what you want to be able to do. Remember, those requirements change. So, and software is going to need to be updated anyways, eventually, or evolve. So you really want to try to plan for updates. So there's some techniques you can use here to anticipate change. So these changes I've talked about, they can be mitigated, right? And some of the methods you can use, and these are why some of the reasons why all of these methods exist even in the first place, or at least partial reasons why they exist. So things that you want to do to try to help anticipate change is you want to avoid code duplication, because duplicate code is harder to track. If you have the same functions in different files doing the exact same things, but then something changes, you have 4, 5, 6 different files. You have to go track that down. It's really easy to miss one and have a bug, or to easily not understand what something is doing because it does something on one page but doesn't do the same thing on the other page. And then you have to remember, if you're changing something, a function in one file, and it does the same thing in another file, but you miss this one, now they're not connected in the sense that they might not even look the same right now. And to somebody else working on the project, it might take them a really long time to connect that these two are doing the same things, and they might never realize it, especially as these get more complex. It's really easy to miss stuff like that. So another thing you want to do is you want to use the principle of separation of concerns in modularity. So think about having Lego blocks, and those Lego blocks all stick together. Well, if you need to fix a block or change a block, if all your blocks are red and blue, but all of a sudden now they need to be red and yellow, well, you can just pull the blue blocks out and put the yellow ones in. And that's just a really easy way to explain we need to change out these blocks and have them do something different. Well, it's easy to find them. It's easy to change them. They're not going to affect how the red blocks are currently functioning ideally. So that's a really good way to kind of explain the separation of concerns and why that's important. So your modules then that you have, all these blocks, they should be decoupled. They shouldn't have a bunch of classes that have intertwined logic in them. So basically, if you have a class here, this should do one thing. You have a class here, this should do one thing. They shouldn't do 10 different things and be all intertwined. This is so much harder to untangle them. It's easier if it does one thing. Well, we can replace that, we can replace this, and then put the new ones in, and then connect them, and then they're done. Code should be maintainable. So your style between files, it should be uniform and easy to read. And this is another great reason that you should have that, besides it's nice and clean and it looks great, but it's way easier to deal with change when everything is uniform already and already put together well. You also want testing in place. So this can help eliminate those bugs and issues that can be solved in development, and also when you're anticipating change, when you change things, if you have tests in place, then you have confidence in your code, and that can help catch a lot of things for you. You want to plan for turnover in your personnel. So people are going to get promoted, or they're going to work on different projects or on different teams, or they might leave the team for whatever reason. So if your software is properly structured, right, then new people coming into the project, they can more easily understand what's going on there. And then also, with people turning over, you also have to be aware that, technology changes, and as well as the market changes as well. And we keep that in mind that, okay, the technology and market might change. So over here we have the technology, and over here we have the market. Well, eventually, perhaps the technology is changing, so we need to think about what it might change to and how that affects what we're currently doing right now. If we can make sure and anticipate that this might be getting updated or changed into whatever different framework or something at some point in time, that's something to definitely think about when you're anticipating that change. And as well as the market, perhaps the reason we have to change that technology is because the market's changing. And I think a really easy example of this is, especially in web development, is the change to mobile. Everybody should recall that nothing used to be really on mobile. Everything was designed for desktop, and then mobile phones came out, and then mobile phones ended up getting browsers, and mobile view became a big issue. And then people started designing code specifically for mobile, apps specifically for mobile. So that's a really easy way to think about that. Technology changed and the market changed really quickly there over the course of a few years. When smartphones got their browsers, the iPhone came out, and Android stuff came out. So they really helped push those changes. So yeah, that's anticipating change essentially for beginners at a low level. Just wanted to cover a quick video discussing this. Hope you enjoyed this. Would appreciate a subscribe, and I will see you next time.